Hey guys, it's Aiden Friedman from Idea to Result Video Productions. I just finished recording Humans of St. John's Episode 4, and wow, what an amazing conversation. Merritt Lee is just an incredible human that lives right here in St. John's. I can't wait for you guys to check out that episode. But huge thank you to EXP Busy Bees team. If you're a real estate agent looking to get started in real estate, Busy Bees is the way to go. The team leader is Veronica Weiland, and talk about amazing humans, Veronica is amazing. So check out the website, link in the description below, and without further ado, let's get into the episode. Merritt, I wanted to, before we get into you, I wanted to get into the context of the Humans of St. John series as like a whole, right? And before we get into that, I wanted to mention that I took the transcript from Merritt and I's preliminary meeting, I threw it into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to give me some questions. So the original plan is to have a little teleprompter behind Merritt so I could read the questions and then ask Merritt, right? But then I realized the name, right? Humans of St. John's. Let's keep it human. Let's keep it authentic and real, right? You know? So I know there's that one family in the audience that's really going to resonate with that message. So you know who you are. You guys helped influence that decision, by the way. Let's get into the context for the Humans of St. John's series as a whole, right? Okay. So my family and I moved about 2.5 years ago from Chicago, Illinois, right? We moved to St. Johns County, and immediately we noticed so many differences in the lifestyle here and the people here, right? And again, it was the people that stood out to my family most. And my dad was sitting on the couch, how do we meet more people? Because at that point, I was a lifeguard, right? So I was lifeguarding, I was trying to meet other people, and I met some friends through lifeguarding and just some people along the pool, but it wasn't as good, right? So Dad is like, hey, why don't we meet amazing people by interviewing them, right? At that point, I was still growing with my video skills, and it got to like right the point where we could do something with it. So we basically started the Humans of St. John series, and we wanted to meet like really amazing people that live here. And there's a bunch of amazing ones just on the street, but there's like some really remarkable people. So the first episode was Sebastian, right? Sebastian was at the time, freshman in high school. He had a bakery business where he would go to the Nocatee Farmers Market and he would sell his bread. He worked with his grandma and his mom to make the bread, and the grandma had the recipe passed down from generations. The dad helps with the finance, and the sister was cooking some cookies as well. Sarah Frasca was the second episode, right? She lives also in Nocatee. She owns the restaurant called Traska & Co. We actually filmed at the restaurant for that Humans of St. John's too. She's a mom. She's, again, amazing story. The third episode, which hasn't been released at the time of recording this episode, but will be released before this episode comes out, is the local rabbi and his wife. So they have 7 kids, and the impact that they've had on this community is just insane. Yeah. Now, Merritt, we come to you. I was doing outreach in February of this year. I had a small team in the Philippines. I was working with my dad. We sent out about 2,000 emails to various digital marketing agencies in Jacksonville and Orlando. We went to Tampa. Then we started in Georgia. We went to North Carolina, South Carolina. But of the 50 to 100 people that responded, you were one of them. Right? And you said, I'm good. I don't really need a free video because we already have a video guy. But if you'd like, you know, I can introduce you. And at that point, I'm sitting by my computer. I'm just getting rejection after rejection after rejection. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, at least this person's not saying no thank you. Right. Sure. Hey, introduce me to Matthew. And now Matthew's actually sitting behind camera A. And Matthew and I have partnered up on a bunch of shoots. And we continue to partner. And I hope it's going to grow into a long-lasting partnership. But that brings to you, Merritt, right? So can you sort of introduce yourself to, you know, the audience that's listening in?
Sure. My name is Merritt Lee. I live here in St. Johns County in St. Augustine. I'm over on the beach side, and we moved here about 10 years ago. And I have a business called Digital Design Solutions.
You mentioned that you started in New York in our preliminary meeting. So your story sort of starts in New York. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, actually, I didn't go to college till much later, but I moved to New York when I was 17 to model. I started modeling, and I met my husband, and he and I started a comedy team. He asked me to be his straight person, so I was a straight person in our comedy team. He ran restaurants, and then we did comedy. We started doing roasts, like the Dean Martin roasts, and we did, like, you know, they used to do for the Friars Club, so we would roast people for their 50th birthday parties. And we actually did the Copacabana. I was able to perform with him at the Copa for somebody's anniversary party when I was 21, and so that was kind of my start in New York. And then after that, we moved to Jupiter, Florida, then San Francisco, and we lived on a boat there, and then we moved here in 2013.
So let's move into the San Francisco. You said you guys were living on a boat. So you want to talk us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. That part of our life was an amazing time. We lived in San Francisco, and we bought a Chinese junk boat, and we lived on it for 10 years. It was facing Alcatraz, and it was amazing. We met the most amazing, talk about amazing people. We met great people living on the boat. I was modeling for Levi's at the time, and it literally changed my life. You mentioned college. So I was living in San Francisco as late as the 90s, and it was Fleet Week when the parade of ships and the Blue Angels would fly over, and there was a woman in a boat next to me. And we were back and forth, and there was thousands of people behind the gate, and we were letting people in. We're having a party, and she's like, and we started talking over champagne. And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting a degree in English." And she said, "F English." She said, "Multimedia is where it is." I'm like, "What is multimedia?" This is 1992, 93 at the time. It was 94 when I started to go to school. And she said, "Check it out." So we looked it up, and San Francisco State had just started their Internet Technology and Design classes. And I started to go to school there. I actually got a chance to go to Netscape's launch party, which was amazing. And I used to write for City Search when I did restaurant reviews, which was the precursor to Yelp. And I started my business because a lot of restaurants in San Francisco would call me up. They'd say, "Hey, Merritt, why don't you do a review?" And I'd say, "Well, you know what? I'm not doing reviews anymore. I'm doing websites." And they're like, "Oh, websites? I don't have a website." Nobody had a website in 1994. It was just starting. So then my first 12 websites that I did when I started were all for restaurants in San Francisco. After that, I worked for a woman-owned aerospace firm, and I was able to, I worked for them for 10 years, 4 different websites. One got translated into 8 languages, and they actually had me build a poster, design a poster that was signed by all the scientists and then launched into space. So it was
cool.
Amazing time to be in San Francisco, right at that watershed moment when the internet was just coming about into its own. And everyone you talked to was, doing a startup, investing something, creating something. And so it was an amazing time to live in the city.
And then you moved from, it was San Francisco to North Carolina, right?
Yep.
Asheville?
Yep.
So what did you do in Asheville?
Well, I had started my business, and we moved up to Asheville, and it was funny because I was offered a job with Birkenstock before we left the city, and I never even told my husband. And he said, when we moved, he said, "You got a job offer and you never even considered it?" I was like, I wanted to start my own. So the beauty of what I do is that we can be wherever we want, travel wherever we want. So we moved up to Lake Lure, North Carolina, and then I bought an office up in Asheville and started building my team up there. So we were in Asheville when it was just starting to grow as well.
And then finally, you moved to St. Johns County, right? So what initially attracted you guys to this location?
We love anything that has to do with the beach. Like I said, we lived on a boat. I love paddleboarding. I love boating. And we had gotten married in Key West at Ernest Hemingway's house. And my husband always wanted to move to the Keys. And I said no, which he still, brings up to this day. But we came here for a wedding. And we stayed in the wedding was in Jack's Beach, but we stayed here in St. Augustine. And the moment I arrived here, I felt the love. I felt the energy of the area. I loved the beach, and I loved the community, and just said, that's it. We came for a wedding and said, that's it. We're buying a place here.
I mean, it's the people, right? The people that make this community so amazing, right? I'll tell you, even like a month and a half ago, I went with my family to Chicago just to visit some friends and relatives over there. And even stepping into O'Hare International Airport as opposed to Orlando Airport, where we took off from, you just instantly tell a difference. To further show that point, my cousin from Germany, he's staying with us for 2 months. He also felt the same exact feeling that I had. You're looking around and people are almost looking past you or like through you. Like they don't really care in O'Hare Airport, right? They're like, get out of my face, sort of like, let me get to my flight. Let me just, and then we walk around Chicago, around the suburbs where I used to live. Same thing. People are just like looking past you. They're looking like upset. Then you come back to Florida, right? We flew back into Orlando Airport and we instantly felt the difference. We're just like, wow, people here just have an amazing demeanor. Like, would you agree? There's something different. Like, I'm sure you've traveled before as well, right? Yeah. Coming back to Florida, it's just like the same feeling every time. You're like reminded of just how amazing people here are, right?
I think, because I've lived in New York, I lived in San Francisco, we've lived in cities all over the country, and You know, I think you're so much on guard and you're not allowed to trust people because they're strangers. But here in St. Johns County, people are your neighbors. And you have a much better opportunity to really, it's a safer environment, you're not on guard, and so your hearts are open a little bit more. And I think that's what we see in this community, is that people are not afraid to open their heart, to give back, to create causes. There's so many little things, I mean, it seems silly, but my friends all do these pub crawls, but they're always for a charity. And so we raised money for Swamp Haven, which was an animal rescue. We raised money for a single mom that needed a heart transplant. And all the different things. One year we did a pub crawl and everyone dressed up like an underwater animal, like octopuses and mermaids and this and that. But then the money that they raised went to the sea turtles that grow, that are birthed here on the beaches. So it's a fun community, it's a safe community, but it's also a community of giving and caring.
Would you mind giving us the story? I know you gave it to me in the preliminary meeting. Can you give us the story of, you said your husband came back, he was feeling very sick, and the neighbor came over. Like, can you give us that whole story?
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting story because we've seen hurricanes in this community, and my husband was in the ICU, and he was literally dying. And as he was starting to come out of it, he lost the ability to walk. And while he was in the ICU, there was a major hurricane. I gave my neighbor my generator, so he had it because I was staying in the ICU. And when they realized that he was coming home and he couldn't walk, my neighbors, and one of them literally had no house because it had been ruined by the hurricane. They came over and they built an outdoor shower for my husband so that until he learned to walk the stairs, he could shower. But the power of the community, that people came out and they fed us, they sent meals over, they checked on us. The group at Meehan's, it was amazing. The guys at Meehan's, Reggie and the guys, they came over before the hurricane. They took all the stuff out of our backyard and put it in our garage and then took it back out after the hurricane. I mean, people circled us and supported us during that time. And I think that's just a big statement of what St. Johns County's people are like. They are amazing people. They came over, they built a shower for nothing, just so that he would have a place to shower when he came home. They fed us, they cared for us. And that really showed me that this community is just so amazing.
An extra level of care, I remember you said, right?
Yeah, that extra level, you know, I think that there's a sense of security here that allows people to open their hearts and care. And that's what we've experienced in St. Johns County.
So, Merritt, you mentioned you run a digital marketing agency, right? Can you say a little about what you guys offer as a digital marketing agency?
Yeah, sure. Digital Design Solutions is a full-service web design and digital marketing company. What sets us apart from others is that we really take the time to listen to our clients and to bring their vision into their websites. We're a boutique firm. We take that extra time to make sure that everything is special, that the designs are a step above. We can help people whether they want a logo, a website redesign, add different features to their website. And then we always tell people, we don't just build your website, we position you for success. And what that means is we don't just build the website. Once it's built, we can help you with your social media and your search engine optimization so you get more traffic to your site. I love the community here. You know, I love the people that I've met. You know, I'm part of a business community in Nocatee, and I've got 50 different people that are part of that community, and the bonds between the friendship and the business is amazing. My friendship with Matthew, you know, has just been from the day we met, we just became friends. It's like, it's a different environment. It's not a competitive environment. It's not an intense environment, and it's just a beautiful environment that allows you to open your doors to more people because you are in such a wonderful community.
And put yourself in the shoes of a family that just landed here, right? So they just arrived with their car, the truck has finished unloading, they see the truck driving away from their house. How do they connect with people here locally? What would you recommend?
Well, you know, I mean, joining a gym, joining a church, you know, a synagogue, whatever, you know, those are great, you know, those are the first thing people think of. For me, it was joining the business community of BNI. I met so many people that way. I'm also a boater, as we said, so, you know, I've got my boating friends and a boating community, and people like join the running teams and the with the 5Ks and things like that. So there's so many ways that way, and it's also really wonderful to see how the community is just continuing to grow, all the things that are coming into the community, the different restaurants. I mean, you see chefs like the Barry from Lotus Noodle. I mean, he's a Michelin star chef that lived in New York City, and San Francisco, but he moved here because this was his roots and he wanted to make this community grow. So I think it's just so amazing how many people have come into this community and what a beautiful community it is.
And let's say you have a free Saturday, right? What are you doing? What do you recommend people to do in St. Johns County on a free Saturday?
Well, for me, a free Saturday means that I'm going to be out on the water. My favorite thing is to take a boat out, take a group of friends. I always feel like I'm on vacation when I do this. It's like, and it reminds me how lucky we are to live here, because to spend a day on the water with a group of friends and then, you know, hit the conch house afterwards or a different restaurant, and, you know, to live in a place that makes you feel like you're on vacation, and to be able to enjoy the water, the beach, our house. You know, well, the perfect Saturday for me is that we're out on the boat, and then we come back here and grill out in the backyard. I mean, it's beautiful weather, beautiful people, beautiful water. But honestly, it always makes me think that I live in a place that I can call home, but it's also a place that I feel like I'm on vacation when I have a boat day on a Saturday.
I can get over the palm trees. I still can't.
Yeah,
You know, moving from Illinois, our vacations would be like, we know we're on vacation if we see a palm tree.
Right.
Here, it's every day. Just look out your window. There's a palm tree right there.
Exactly. It's like when we bought this house, I told my husband, I'm like, you own palm trees, you know?
Wow. It's amazing. I mean, really it is.